Okay, so welcome back. Now let's do some examples of multiplying. And so I'm going to use the technique that I just showed you in the last video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these, but I'm going to ignore the decimals. Okay, so I'm going to write this as 3.2 times 0.41. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat it as 41 times 32. So let's do, let me rewrite this. 3.2 and 0.41. So I'm going to ignore the decimal points and I'm just going to multiply like if it was 41 times 32. Okay, so 4 times 32 is 128. Right? And then 1 times 32 is just 32. And so I get 160. Right? And now what happens? Now I'm going to count the number of digits to the right of the decimals. 1, 2, 3. So now my decimal point is there, and I'm going to move 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. And so my final answer is 0.16. Because I don't need the last decimal point. So 0.16. So 0.41 times 3.2 is 0.16. No, that doesn't seem right. Something's not right. Oh, I know what I did. I need to learn how to multiply. The decimal was messing me up. This is going to be 1. There we go. Because the whole numbers, this would be 1280, not 128. Yep. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12, so that's 1200 plus 80, so 1280. And then I've got 32. There we go. Now that makes more sense. So this is going to be 13, 1, 2. Now I'm going to move the decimal point 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Now that looks better. 1.312. Okay. Now the reason why I caught myself was because I know half, 0.5 is a half, right? So half of 3.2 is definitely not less than 1. So I knew something was wrong. But again, always check your answer. Take this, right? So take your number and see if it makes sense. Okay? Always make sure that you check your answer. Okay, the next one. Next one is 0.3 times 0.2. Well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the decimal point. I'm going to do 6 times 2 is, getting ahead of myself. 3 times 2, which equals 6, right? And then I'm going to count the number of digits to the right. 1, 2. So I'm going to move my decimal point 1, 2. So I'm going to have a 0 here. So my answer is going to be 0.06. So 0.3 times 0.2 is 0.06. Okay, now what about this one? Well, I'm going to write this as 25 times 5. Okay, so 25 times 5 is 125. And now I'm going to move the decimal point over 2 spaces. 1, 2. So the answer is 1.25. Which makes sense because, again, 0.5 is a half. Half of 2.5 is 1.25. So that makes sense. Now this one's a good one. Anytime you multiply by a power of 10, you're going to move the decimal point to the right. So here I'm multiplying by 100, right? So this is like multiplying by 10 twice, right? Because 10 times 10 is 100. And every time you multiply by 10, it moves the decimal point to the right, one place value. So if I multiply by 100, that means I'm going to move this over 1, 2, and so the answer is 60. So 100 times 0.6 is 60. Have a great day.